Let's send things out to NBC 10's JC Monahan. She's live in Milwaukee, along with our political reporter, Matt Pritchard. They have the day's big political developments. Good evening, JC.
Good evening, Glenn and Priscilla, and it's only day one. And yes, we have big news. Let's start with the obvious. Donald Trump has won the nomination to be the presidential candidate for the Republican Party. And then following that, on his social media site, Truth Social, he selected J.D. Vance as his running mate for his White House bid. Vance is a 39-year-old senator from Ohio. We have NBC 10 political reporter you mentioned, Matt Pritchard, is here as well. Matt, you are in the forum. You were there for that announcement. You were there when Donald Trump made his first appearance after Saturday's awful event. Can you just tell me a little bit about what it's like being in there tonight?
Well, JC, tonight, of course, all eyes were on the former president once he appeared up on the Jumbotron with a bandage on his right ear and then made his way into the forum. You can see behind me here, if you look across the forum, you will see that red box. That is where the Trump family has been sitting, and that is where Donald Trump was sitting tonight. Many of the delegates are filing out right now, but boy, it became a ruckus and exciting atmosphere in here when that moment happened. And so, yeah, you can hear it there, just the excitement from everyone in the building when that moment was happening. Of course, as you mentioned, JC, though, we had a lot of things take place here on day one of the RNC. Not only was Donald Trump officially nominated as the party's nominee for president in 2024, the former president also selected his running mate for this time down the campaign trail, that being Senator J.D. Vance, 39 years old, a first-term senator out of Ohio, a person who pulled himself up out of poverty. He made his way all the way to the United States Senate, but many have pointed out the fact that in 2016, he was a major Trump critic, in fact, calling the former president cultural heroin and saying that he couldn't believe that anyone would want to vote for that person. But a lot has changed in 8 years since then. He is now one of Trump's most staunch supporters. We got a chance to get some reaction across the convention today from people who felt it was a good pick, those who felt it wasn't, and even those who were rivals of former President Trump in this 2024 election, including Vivek Ramaswamy.
I mean, I'm a human being, you know. I think anybody who was serious in American politics who was asked, who would have been asked, would have said yes. I would have said yes if asked too. But I think JD is truly an outstanding choice.
A little bit more traditional Republican view of the world. But JD, that's what you get for winning. President Trump gets to name whoever he wants to.
And now let's talk a little bit about what we just watched here in the last hour or so. Yes, President Trump coming into the arena, but there were multiple speakers as well. One of those being the Teamsters president, Sean O'Brien, a Massachusetts native, coming in, and for the first time, I think ever, is what he said, of a Teamsters president addressing the Republican National Convention at the invitation of Donald Trump, really making that pitch at whichever person winds up winning this election needs to put workers first, giving that message to a GOP crowd, at times losing them, at times getting cheers. It was a really interesting environment to watch that speech play out. We also saw multiple other Trump advocates, including Senator Tim Scott out of South Carolina and Senator Katie Britt out of Alabama, who you might remember at the State of the Union provided the Republican rebuttal at that particular event. So we have had a busy first day here in Milwaukee. This is the longest day of the convention in terms of the work that the delegates are actually doing. It all starts back up tomorrow night at 5 p.m. More speakers scheduled. A lot of people will be looking past Tuesday to Wednesday and Thursday when we hear from J.D. Vance, and then Donald Trump providing a message on Thursday, which many thinks has been completely rewritten and will center on unity instead of what we normally hear from a Donald Trump speech. Time will tell. We'll be watching it all for you here on NBC 10.